Diaries of a Madman. Written by What Must I Do? Chapter 9. Hunter or Hunted? Part 2. A few weeks after that, an odd thing happened. Twilight, Spike, and I were all chilling in the library. Twilight was taking notes or something. Spike was dusting. I was cleaning my fingernails with a knife, about to head out to do something. There was a knock at the door.
Spike, can you get that?
Twilight asked, not even looking up. He looked down to see what he was doing and then up to me.
Nav, can you get that?
I set my knife on the table, got up, and went to the door. I casually opened it, and behold, a white unicorn wearing a cape. Can I help? I started. He used magic to slap me with a thin silk glove.
The great white unicorn pelt is here to slay you, beast!
I didn't have time to wonder why a pony had a glove. I looked at him. He glared at me. I slowly reached down to my pocket and pulled out one of the gloves I showed up with, put it on, and casually backhanded him across the face with the hand as hard as I could. I accept your challenge. He spit out a tooth and some blood and fixed me with an even greater glare of pure hatred. So, I said, you gonna start slaying me yet?
Town square, 15 minutes. Be there or I will hunt you down like the monster you are.
Jesus, turn off the caps lock. Without another word, he turned around and stalked away. I heard him shouting around to bring up a crowd.
What was that about?
Twilight asked, still not looking up. I closed the door. Oh, some unicorn just came here and told me he was going to kill me in 15 minutes. I'll go get my crossbow. Be back soon.
Have fun. What?
She finally turned to face me and used her magic to pull me closer to her.
What did you say?
Some pompous fuck came by and told me he was going to slay me like a beast or something. He said to meet him in town square, though it's really more of a circle. I suppose I should correct him before I kill him. She dropped me. I went upstairs to get my crossbow and some bolts. I heard her yelling to Spike, and when I came down he was riding furiously. I'll be back in a few minutes, I told her, heading to the door.
You can't just go and fight him, Nav.
Twilight said, terribly distraught. Silly Twilight, I said, ruffling her mane. I'm not gonna fight him. She looked relieved. I'm just gonna kill him. Her relief vanished.
But you can't. It's done, Twilight,
Spike interrupted, waving a letter. With a flourish, she sent it away. I sighed. You aren't gonna let me go out there, are you?
Not until Princess Celestia gets here to clean this mess up, no.
I showed her my crossbow. How long would she take? I really should be leaving now if I want to make his time frame. With an explosion of magic, Celestia appeared right next to me. Twilight and Spike immediately went to their knees.
What is this I hear about a unicorn trying to hurt Navarone?
She asked. Some dude just came by, slapped me with a glove, and told me he was going to kill me in a few minutes in the town circle. I answered. I guess you want to watch me kill him? She frowned.
Navarone, stop it.
I sighed and put my crossbow down on the table.
That's better. Now let's go find out what the stallion wants.
She led the way out the library. When she opened the door, we saw Rarity and Rainbow Dash right outside, about to knock. When they saw her, they bowed.
We were just coming to tell Twilight there was a stallion raving in town circle,
Rarity said.
He's ranting about killing the beast that lives in the tree. Thank you both, but I have already been made aware of this,
Celestia said.
Come along, all of you.
She led us towards the center of town.
You don't need to fear any longer, citizens.
We heard him shouting.
I will rid you of this monster.
It didn't take long for him to notice the growing crowd of ponies.
He has you all so afraid that you...
He saw Celestia and his eyes almost bulged out of his head.
Princess, you came yourself to see me defeat this monster.
Then he saw me walking behind her. If I thought his eyes were bulging before...
Look out!
He tried to rush to her aid, but she forced him to stop with magic. She picked him up and pushed him to the center of town. In the middle of the large crowd that had now formed, I followed. She slowly set him back on the ground, and in a voice that wasn't a yell and yet had no problem carrying, she said,
"What is this I hear about a monster on the loose in Ponyville?"
She released him from her spell, and he pointed right at me.
"I am here to slay this monster and free Ponyville from its subjugations."
She looked at me and then behind me and frowned.
"I don't see any monsters near or behind my good friend Navarone,"
she said. His mouth dropped. Good friend? He practically whimpered. She smiled. I crossed my arms and ruffled my wings.
"Yes, my good friend Navarone,"
she answered, pushing me forward with one of her wings.
"I'm sure if you ever need any help in your monster-slaying travels, he can assist you. He is very good at dispatching unicorns that grow in power and arrogance and try to take over the minds of other ponies."
I don't think that's quite true, though I guess I did help beat Trixie. I heard some murmuring in the crowd, and if this fellow's face dropped any further, he was going to have to sew it back on. Suddenly I started to hear a whistling noise to my left. I ignored it, trying to focus on what Celestia was going to hit this dude with next. The noise got louder and louder until everyone but the monster hunter was looking at it. It was Fluttershy. And holy shit, she was pissed. She slammed into the unicorn.
"Don't you dare hurt Navarone!"
Holy fuck. I rushed forward to grab her before she really hurt the guy. I had to actually rip her off of him. Fluttershy, it's okay, I tried saying. Celestia's here, he's not gonna do a thing. That got her attention long enough for me to get her off. I grabbed her, gently stroking her mane to try to soothe her. She was glaring at the guy on the ground, huddling in terror. I pulled her away from him and she followed me, not letting her eyes off of him. I think he was crying. I whispered into her ear. That was awesome. She blinked, realizing where she was. She started hyperventilating, trying to hold on to me. I led her away from the area, the crowd parting before us. A lot of ponies were smiling either at me for helping her or at her for kicking that guy's ass. I led her to Twilight's library, since that was the closest place that was absolutely cool for me to be in. I was welcome in most public places, but I still got plenty of stares and a few snubs. Maybe after this that would change. I sat her down on the couch that seems to appear and disappear at need. I'm not joking about that. It is not there when I don't need it, and it is there when I come to sit down on something that isn't a chair. No, I don't know how that works. So, like I said, that was pretty fucking awesome, I said when I had her down and relatively calmed down. She blushed. Mind, I don't know if Celestia will agree, but I have never had a friend stick her neck out for me like that. I held out my fist. She flinched automatically. I sighed and grabbed one of her hooves with my other hand and gently hit my fist with it. Good enough, I said. Now, what the hell came over you? She blushed again, even deeper this time.
I was in the market, and I heard some pony saying a unicorn was here to kill you. I just sort of lost my temper. I don't know what happened.
I think she was about to either cry or start hyperventilating again. Fluttershy, it's okay, I said. It is perfectly normal to be upset when you hear something like that. If anyone was trying to hurt any of you, you can bet money I'd be hauling ass to get to help you. That is what friends do for each other. I paused for a moment. That said, though, I would probably get more details before tackling the fucker, I added with a smile. Especially with Celestia standing right there. Her eyes went wide.
Princess Celestia? I thought you were saying that to make me calm down.
She started hyperventilating again. I rolled my eyes and pulled her into a hug. Her wings flared, but after a moment she returned it. My breathing slowly started to return to normal. When I heard the door open, I finally let her go, and Princess Celestia was there watching us. Celestia, I said, nodding.
Navarone,
she answered, stepping in.
This incident will not repeat itself. Her
eyes flicked to Fluttershy.
We have ensured that.
She sighed.
I honestly expected ponies here to accept you more readily, Navarone. If Luna and I can do so, why can't they?
She shook her head sadly. Because they didn't give me a chance, Princess, I answered and shrugged. I don't really blame them. If something as strange as me came to our world and left to roam free, stuff like this would happen to it too. Well, actually, it would all be much worse, but eh. She didn't have a response to that. She turned to Fluttershy, who bowed her head in what I was assuming was shame.
Fluttershy, have you learned anything from this?
Fluttershy mumbled something. I put a hand on one of her hooves, and she gave me a hasty smile and looked up to the princess.
I learned that you should never act without thinking or learning the full situation. Even if you think somebody might be in danger, you might just hurt somebody that doesn't really deserve it.
Not a very good Aesop in my mind, but whatever. Lucy turned her gaze to me.
And what did you learn, Navarone?
I shrugged. Ponies are occasionally kick-ass friends. She blinked.
Try again.
If some dick comes to challenge me in a duel, tell the princess on him? She shook her head.
One more time.
I scratched my head. Look, princess, I'm not good at these Aesops. Given the choice, I would have just taken my crossbow down there and deep sixed that sumbitch. He would have dealt with this asshole, though it probably would have made the rest of the ponies in town pretty terrified. But to be quite honest, I don't really give a damn anymore. I shrugged. If they don't want to accept me, fuck them. With these wings growing at my back, I'm here in this world to stay.
I am going to pretend that you stopped 3 sentences sooner,
She answered.
Now give it a proper ending.
I blinked, trying to remember what I had said. Damn it, where's Pinkie Pie when I need her? She could just reach to the 4th wall and grab what I was going to write in my journals and tell me. And that would be bad? I said awkwardly. Celestia smiled.
Hello, said Nav. Now, unfortunately, I must return to the palace. It was always a pleasure to speak with you, Navarone, and to see you too, Fluttershy.
Before we could respond, she disappeared with a loud thunderclap. Well, what do you know? I said. She finally asked me one of those friendship lesson things she always makes you write her. Hopefully it never happens again. Fluttershy smiled awkwardly.
I don't think she liked yours very much, Nav.
I shrugged. That's just because I'm a human living in a pony's world. The establishment's trying to keep me down. She didn't get it. I waved it away. Twilight and Spike came in, so Fluttershy was spared the awkwardness of more of my strange human jokes.
Can you believe that, Stallion?
Twilight asked.
Coming here like that?
She sniffed.
He's lucky the princess let him go like she did.
Well, I said. I knocked a tooth out and Fluttershy here kicked his ass. I suppose that was enough.
You knocked out one of his teeth?
Spike asked with wonder in his voice.
You didn't even touch him.
I went over to the door and opened it. I reached down and picked up the tooth the guy spat out and held it up. When he slapped me with his little glove to challenge me, I responded with a glove of my own. I said. But instead of slapping him with it, I slapped him with my fucking hand. Hard.
That's, pretty mean,
Spike slowly said. Sure is. I replied with a shrug. Motherfucker shouldn't have shown up to kill me. Then I turned back to Fluttershy. You need any help shopping? I asked her. She quickly shook her head, but thought for a moment.
Maybe you can help me solve a problem, Nav?
I could certainly try, I said, and she led me out of the building, leaving Twilight to her boring work and Spike to cleaning.
It's Angel,
He said.
He doesn't like eating regular food, you see.
Fluttershy, I don't know a damn thing about animals, but I'll see what I can do, I suppose. What happens when you try to give him stuff like that to him? She described the situation. Uh-huh, I answered. I didn't say anything else. The rest of the walk to her little shack was in silence. She went in first and said she was back and whatnot. An assload of little critters were inside playing. I saw Angel staring at her impatiently. When he saw me, his gaze froze a bit, but went back to impatient quick enough. I walked to him. He stared at me furiously. Until he saw my face. Let's go for a little walk, I said. He shook his head and tried to bounce away. I snatched him by his bunny ears. Oh, I'm glad you agree. We'll be right back, Fluttershy, I said. She nodded, looking down to one of her little friends. She didn't see Angel frantically trying to get her attention. When we were outside a few minutes away from the house, I sat down next to a tree, and I held Angel up to my eyes. "So, I heard you like specially cooked meals," I said, and he just looked at me. "So do I. You know, I used to be a bit of a cook back home. Do you know what I specialized in?" He didn't. "Rabbit soup." His eyes went wide as a bunny's could. Rabbits worked fine, but bunnies were better, younger and more tender, you know? I smiled easily and poked him in the belly. He gulped. I pulled out a knife out of my pocket and opened it with a loud click. He looked at it, fear evident in his eyes. I set the knife down on my knee. "Do you know what I do to people that hit my friends, Angel?" His eyes returned to mine. "I hurt them." He squeezed his eyes shut. "Now, don't get me wrong, Angel. I don't like hurting others. In fact, I detest it. So do you know what you're going to do for me?" One of his eyes popped open. "You are going to make sure I don't have to hurt anyone. No one's going to be hitting my good friend Fluttershy on your watch, right?" He frantically shook his head. "Good. I would hate to have to skin something as small as you to make some nice bunny stew." I picked up my knife, closed it, and slid it back into my pocket. "Now, how about I set you down so you can go eat what Fluttershy has for you?" He nodded his head like a jackhammer. I put him down and let him go. He sprinted right to Fluttershy's house. I followed at a more sedate pace. When I got inside, I found he was eating some of the manner of green pellet or something Fluttershy had laid out for him.
And you said you don't know about animals.
He said to me, smiling. "Angel and I, we reached an understanding of sorts," I said. He looked over to me and I patted my pocket. His ears slumped and he shoved a pellet in his mouth. I smiled, nodding.
"Well, whatever you did, thank you."
"Anything for a friend, Fluttershy. If you need any more help, just ask." She happily nodded and I stepped back into the nice day. Some time after I showed up in Equestria, Pinkie Pie tried to hold a party for me, calling it my birthday. She started discussing it with me when I bumped into her at the marketplace. Applejack was with her. When I told her my birthday was actually in March, she gave me the oddest look I could have seen from her.
"What do you mean, it's in March?"
she asked. I shrugged. "It's in March. What do you want?"
"Why didn't you say anything before? I would have thrown you a great party."
Have I ever been the sort to like parties?
Yeah, you love my parties.
I don't think that's true,
If you say so.
he dubiously said before getting excited again.
"Well, this March I'll throw you a super extra fantastical party to make up for last year's. Wait, when in March?"
If I tell you, will you promise not to give me a party?
Psh, no, don't be silly, Nov. Everybody loves parties.
I'm not a pony, remember?
Well, everything else I've had parties for likes them.
Maybe I'm the exception.
You know, I could hold you a party every day in March. That way I'll be sure to get it right on the day.
You wouldn't. It would be too much money.
It's worth it for a friend.
Your birthday present for me should be not to give me a party.
But you love my parties. Why would I want not to give you something that you love?
My head was starting to hurt. I don't like your parties. That was exactly the wrong thing to say. Her eyes welled up with tears.
You don't like my parties?
She asked in the saddest voice I think I've ever heard. Before I could answer, she started to cry. Now it's rare that I see Pinkie Pie cry, but when she does in a situation like this, when her feelings weren't actually hurt, but she wanted to pretend like it was, the tears flew from her face in a stream, like something out of a damn anime. Confuses the hell out of me, and makes me really wonder what the fuck is wrong with this world. I turn to Applejack. Is there any way out of this that doesn't involve me telling me when my birthday is? Nope. Or at least, I sure can't see any. I was getting more than a few mean looks from the ponies in the market. I sighed. There was a party scheduled for me on my birthday. Pinkie Pie's unstoppable party monster. I'm really curious where Pinkie and Navarone lie, because I'm not going to lie, It seems really weird that he's kind of nonchalant after the whole, not great things happen in the novel. He was a pony thing. But I'm sure she'll get her comeuppance at some point, hopefully. However, before any of that, I would like to thank my wonderful Patreons. Thank you, my tier 1s, Bounds Kindness, Chase Lemaster, Dreamless Portal, Hyperlink Jason, HKH4, AK Texture, Night Game, Macario, Pony Entertainment, Starlight Blaze, and Rain Flicker. My tier 2s, Captain Blue Shadow, Chaotic Mist, The Animated Ghost, TGMX 2000, Elemental Wolf, H1 Wolf King, Potato 20, a new Patreon, Mr. Crazy Deacon, thank you so much for your support, Mackenzie McCullis, Nocturne, Papa Lennon, Redeemer of Dark, Solus Eclipse, Sword Brother and Mordred, and RD Bryant. A big thank you to my previous Titan tiers, Dark Guardian, Danish Dash, and Maverick. A large thank you to my current ones, User 1842 and Silent Titan. I appreciate your guys' support so much, and it means a ton to me. But I really should consider getting a new banner, because I have so many Patreons that it's covering up the pictures I made. I might have to dip my hand into animation to see if I can make it fit better. I don't know. I'll figure it out. You guys are way too kind to me, and I appreciate it. That aside, however, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.